Ace reporter Pepper Presstopper finds herself once again in a sticky situation.
Scream all you want, sweetheart. No one can hear you. You stuck your nose into our employer's business for the last time. She's all yours, boss.
All right, a little word of warning today. There is a whole lot of don't knows, which isn't that out of the ordinary, but more than usual. There's the football, there's the imports, there's the companies I don't know, there's fighting games. It's just an avalanche, but it's still toys, and I'm going to talk about them. Because I'm Robo, this here's the rewind. Since I used their footage for the intro, let's start off with Mezco's 1/12 Collective Rumble Society Doc Nocturnal, the Monster That Hunts Monsters Deluxe Edition. Yes, I did that several times before I could get it. We saw this back at San Diego Comic-Con, but it's always nice to get pretty promotional pictures. Because these show Doc as larger and meaner. I kind of equate it to Robin graduating up to Batman status. I don't think the story's actually like that. The first time around, it was just a guy who was smaller, you know what I mean? Out there, fighting evil. Then in the new stop motion, he emerges from some kind of chamber, bigger and badder. But the first figure always reminded me of Robin. Maybe it was based on that body, but there was also the tunic, the cape, the alternate hood. Yes, I'm thinking of later Robins. And then I look at this one as more of a Batman because, you know, taller, bulkier, more intimidating. Here's the original Doc fighting Nosferatu, and now here's the new Doc fighting that same figure. You can tell the size difference. Or the best you can get is to go over to D Amazing's review on this exact figure where he put up a side-by-side, and there's a size difference. See? It's right there. So yeah, there's options. Well, okay, the only option at this point to get this is to jump on the wait list, because every time they post a Mezco exclusive Rumble Society, I see it, and I know I'm just gonna be like, well, I'm gonna be talking about that after the sellout this weekend. But that's okay, we're still talking about sweet, sweet looking toys. Even ones that kind of snuck up on me. I guess I didn't realize that Jazwares had a line called Total Anime, and there was a Chainsaw Man planned. I just saw people talking about the Amazon listing online, and I thought, huh, what? Where'd this come from? Quick research shows San Diego Comic-Con, of course. That's always the culprit. And thinking back to that, I don't remember wandering through the Jazwares booth at any time. It was so much more crowded than the past couple years, so it was kind of, get to where we're going and then get out. So I guess I missed this, or forgot, because when it comes to Chainsaw Man, there are more than a few options out there from different companies. So I see pictures and I think, is that from that Bandai or Figma? Who's making this? Oh, Jazwares. Okay. I will point out that the listing says 6.5 inch. I don't know if they're talking about the scale or the exact size of the figure. It's tall, it's lanky, there's a handle up on top of the chainsaw. They may be factoring all of that in and giving us an exact size. Or they're talking about something just a smidge over 1/12. Like Marvel Legends. I guess it's just gonna be one of those wait until we get it in hand and find out situations. Because while we're talking about this series and characters who have several different releases from several different companies, there's also this Total Anime My Hero Academia Midoriya. This is already shipping! How did I know about this? Or have we talked about it and it just kind of blanked? Because there's a Deku, there's a Deku. There's Deku, everywhere's Deku. We have seen this costume in plastic before though. This is just another option out there. Because there's also the price point of these. I forgot to mention that with Chainsaw Man. Maybe you've been fence sitting this whole time because of import prices or you didn't like the previous offerings. A $20 price tag goes a long way with a lot of collectors. Then again, this listing also says 6.5 inches. Are they just using that number? Kind of like, does Mafex do that? Where everything is, I can't even remember, 15, 16, something like that. Either way, Jazwares making some anime figures. That's the news, I guess. Our friends over at Savage Crucible sent me a link to their new Collegiate Legends, and I don't know that foosball. I don't know sports in general, really. That somehow passed me by. I missed it because it was just kind of like, oh, but I'm reading this comic book. Okay. I do know that it's football. I know that it's college level. I know that it's Harvinger Studios, and we already know that they make good figures, so here's this. That's all I can tell you. It is officially licensed. And I don't mean to sound surprised by that, but I live in Arkansas. And I know more than a few people who have wanted to make Razorback merchandise in the past. And sometimes the college allows it, sometimes they don't. And I've always heard it secondhand. So I don't know what the process is exactly. Maybe Alabama was quick to jump on, hey, action figures, cool. Let's make it happen, Captain. I just know that locally a lot of people were shot down trying to make hog merch. Woo pig. But that's also all secondhand. I heard from people. So I may be blowing smoke, but it's only because smoke was blown at me first. I'm just redirecting it back around. I don't know a damn thing about licensing through colleges and whatever. Am I filling time just because I don't know a damn thing about football and I just wanted to show the figures? Make sure to go to the comment section and go, I ain't buying no Alabama, dang, my team's better than your team. Since we're on the subject of sports, Wonder Festival happened this week and there was a lot shown. A lot. Too much. So much that we're not going to go over all of it here just because some of the pictures, I don't know what I'm looking at. Scale-wise, company-wise, property-wise, but there were a few things that caught my eye. And this was one of them. This is the Adam Street Pals Batiste the Bison. Now, I'm not looking at this as a football player or from a sports angle. I'm looking at this as the Adam base body, which I have seen up for pre-order, being used in an official capacity by the company to make characters or character packs to go with the Adam body. Again, I don't have a lot of information here. I'm just, oh man. Plus, it's taking the sports theme and adding weapons and armor and saw blades and such. That's much more up my alley. Or first down on my 5-yard line. I think I've heard that said before. But I really like the look of this Mr. Tough street hockey player. Again, I have no clue when it comes to sports, but this may just be on the list. For no reason whatsoever. For the sarcasm impaired, yes, I know that it looks like Casey Jones, okay? But this is actually the Adam Street Pals Wayne the Fear Hunter. And I do know Wayne is a hockey reference. Just like I know the Adam Guilty Land Jagger the War Leader strikes an uncanny resemblance to the DC Dark Knight Returns mutant leader. In fact, I don't think that character has been represented in plastic and cloth as beautifully as this is at this exact moment as a prototype at a show overseas. I wanted to throw that all in there because there's been a few mutant leaders, but this, okay, first, the jeans are kind of plain. They're just kind of laying there. But the sculpt, the skin tones, the facial features, the head options, oh, this may be the best one yet. I'll admit though, I am mostly looking at the skin tones. That just pops. It's pale with some pink, some blue, some shadow, nice transitions, the fades. Oh man, I appreciate that alone. That's enough to get me to double look, triple look, quadruple look. I may have to get this too, stupid Wonder Festival, because I also don't have a Marv in my display. I mean, Guilty Land Kane the Mailman. Again, lots of display options, fantastic sculpt and paint, and all the accessories you could want, including his mitts. And one of the things that's creeping into my mind is the price of the Adam base body. Over on 5K Toys, it is $25. So I'm calculating, oh, well, if that base body is the price of that and they're just adding cloth and sculpt and paint and everything else on the top, the price is probably going to be up there, but my hope is that it's not going to be all the way up there. Hopefully these are in an affordable range, and maybe that information's already out there, but like I said, Wonder Festival was sensory overload. Just look at all this stuff. Moving over to product that's a little less copyright infringing, here is the Ling Jihoon. I'm butchering that, I know. But this is their Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Remember last week when we talked about Memory Toys changing their name to METY Toys? Well, METY Toys has now announced that Ling Jihoon is one of their brands. And looking at this picture, it seems that this is officially licensed. There's the Nickelodeon logo, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles logo. Their display at Wonder Festival was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle branded completely. So when I said that their name change may be for legal reasons, they pop up a week later with what I think is licensed product. So come to your own conclusions. Anyway, like I mentioned, this is their take on the turtles, which are very muscular, very bulky. That's the best way to put it. Even their shells have muscles, or the shells have conformed to their muscles. That's not really one of my preferences, on top of the heads seeming small. But again, that's just personal. That's just my own tastes. This may be right up somebody else's sewer. Okay, that sounds wrong. I do like a lot of the accessories, especially the ones they've given to the best turtle. That Mouser Tech rig on Donatello is pretty damn sweet. I also like that they're giving each turtle their full range of expressions. I saw people commenting on, it seems like the heads, this one shouldn't have smiling and this one should be more serious, but then if you look at the full loadouts, they each come with angry or neutral or smiling or super smiling. There's also some early looks at Rocksteady, Bebop, and a Foot Soldier, so they may be in this for the long haul. But once again, there's a question on the scale. METY Toyz did post on Instagram that these are 1/12, but the placards say 17 centimeters, which is almost 7 inches tall. Once again, waiting and seeing. Are they talking about the turtles being almost 7 inches tall? Or is that what they're calling the scale, where characters like Rocksteady and Bebop will be pushing 7 inches, and then the turtles are shorter? I don't know. That's all I got. This is just another version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles available for people who are into this look, or have been waiting for this look. More strokes for more folks. Maybe you like bodybuilding turtles. Here you go, these are for you. But I just realized if the turtles are that tall, and then Rocksteady and Bebop are scaled accordingly, appropriately to that size, how badass would those two look in other displays? Just as a bigger, so many factors. METY Toyz also had that sweet, sweet Tiger Warrior that we talked about last week on display, but then right next to it, look at that Minotaur! It does have an ever so slight animated feel to it, but then you take the whole piece together and man, I don't know what to say here. I'm speechless. Because there's also apparently options to armor it all up, which changes the look completely. Mostly because it's 85% covered by overlays, so you can't see the actual figure, but you still know it's the same figure. It still has that face, it still has those feet and hands. That's pretty much all you can see. Really, Memory Toys, or well, now METY Toyz, continues to rock along. That's the point they're trying to make. Hey, we're still here. We're still going to be making figures. Same goes for Fury Toys. Now, they showed a few anthropomorphic characters, but my eyes were drawn directly to these saber-toothed steeds. In fact, they grabbed the sides of my face and just went, "Look at me!" But not because of the armor. Don't get me wrong, that does look good, and I love the color contrasts with the green armor and the patina and the dry brushing and everything on top of that natural feeling orange tiger hide and that ferocious face sticking out the front. Then the blue armor on the white saber-tooth doesn't have quite as much contrast, but those colors are just peanut butter and jelly. They just look good together. That's all fine and dandy, but to me it's what's underneath. And I know somebody's gonna say, well, it's just a tiger. No, look at this thing. This is the tiger. You better put some respect on that. In fact, you call him Mr. Tiger, okay? A couple of nights ago, I sat and stared at this to the point where I got kind of a shiver up my spine. It's staring into my soul. When I get this, because I don't think there's any question, I gotta have this on the shelf somewhere. So when I get this, I can't have it anywhere where it's gonna stare at me, you know? If I'm sitting at the computer and it's kind of, ooh. Again, no information, but I'm going to be refreshing 5K Toys over the next couple of weeks. Just like, is it there? No? Okay. How about now? Now? Please? Now? Oh, we ain't done with the Robo Don't Knows yet because Storm announced another Street Fighter line. They're going to be going with Street Fighter 03 or Street Fighter Alpha 3, I guess depending on which country you live in. But the big kicker here is that they've shrunk the scale down to 1/12. Now, I can't find any proof of this, but I seem to remember at some point Storm Collectibles did advertise their Street Fighter and Golden Axe and Mortal Kombat and such as 1/12 scale, but when they came out, they were bigger. But now that I go back several years looking at pictures and stuff, none of the placards say 1/12. So I may be making that up. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of a different company. But anyway, everything up until this point has been larger scaled. I guess they looked and said, oh, well, we need to make some 1/12 stuff. Hey, let's start with Ryu and Ken. Again. Good thing they ain't starting with nobodies like Jury, right? That's a joke. Stop. I heard the price point's going to be $30. So on the surface, it feels like they're going into direct competition with Toyz Street Fighter line. Just different game, different style. So again, if you were waiting for that, then here you go. Another option. More the merrier. Here you go. Lastly, as far as Wonder Festival goes, here is some line called the Yolopark Transformers AMK Pro Series and their new Generation 1 Bumblebee model kit. We kind of expected this. If you're starting a Transformers line, Bumblebee is going to be somewhere near the top, if not the top, depending on the name of the movie. If it's called Bumblebee, you make Bumblebee. This will do nicely. Although I'm hoping there's a different faceplate, because this one looks like he's trying to kiss me. Not that I have any problem with that. I love you too, Bumblebee, but I like options. This looks rough. The edges are all jagged and 3D printy. It's probably because it's 3D printed. So it's just a prototype. We already know that the final product is gonna look beautiful. Going by Optimus Prime and Megatron and Nemesis Prime. So yeah, wait it out. They're gonna be showing more and more promo pics over the next few weeks, I'm sure, up until the release of Starscream, and then they'll start marketing this, and we'll get to talk about Yolopark over and over and over and over. This flashed across my phone as I was walking out here, so I don't have a lot of prep time when it comes to the Fresh Monkey Fiction Big Bad Workshop BBTS 25th Anniversary Soldiers of Fortune Close Combat Operative Red and Black BBTS color release. I'm not doing that again. You get the idea. Let's get it out of the way because I'm thinking it, you're thinking it. It's Deadpool colors. No. It's Big Bad Toy Store colors for their 25th anniversary. That just happens to coincide with the release of a Deadpool movie. Somewhere in between it hitting theaters and it going up on digital. Or did it just go up on digital? I don't know. But here's this. Link is in the description. And you know we're going to finish it off with some Star Wars, briefly, because yes, I already ran down most of the information for the Bandai SH Figuarts reissues. You can check that out here. Should be right there. Chewbacca is essentially the same as the first release, just with another faceplate on top of the two it came with, and then there's handcuffs. That's it. You can do this now. Although, when I did that breakdown, I didn't have this picture, and that looks pretty good. Like he's happy to be in action. I also didn't have this image, which I absolutely love because it seems like a photo op at Disney. Next, of course, there's Han. Same as Chewie, mostly the same figure, but new facial expressions. In Han's case, I think it's whole new heads because they did change up the hair. I'm not gonna say they're better because Harrison Ford has one of those faces that is hard to get in plastic form. I'll just say they're different from the first release. A little more expressive. There's the cocky smile, and then there's the, I'm not really into that, but I actually am. Revenge of the Sith Yoda is a good upgrade simply because of the new arms and then the cloth robe. Well, depending on your preference, I guess. If you don't like soft goods, then, oh no, this is bad. But if you like soft goods and extra movement, there's this. And I mostly say that because I didn't have the greatest time with the first release of this. The arm just popped out, which I have said that it helps with swapping out the plastic robes. So with the new arms, I'm hoping that was fixed, and then you can just slip the cloth robe on and get all the movement without swapping anything out. Because this is how Yoda moves. They also darkened the skin tone to better match the movie. So there's that too. Seems the Ahsoka series Anakin was the hot ticket item though. Like the rest, and the reason we're calling these reissues, a lot of the figure is what we saw the first time. But they did change out the tunic overlay over the chest to make it a little bigger. to come out a little further. And then, of course, you see the faces. Like Han, for a lot of people, this is more of a sideways move. It's not better, it's just different looks. But for me, I feel like this looks more like Hayden Christensen in the Ahsoka series, which is what they're calling this, so I guess. I really like the emotions conveyed, even the happy face. Again, we don't usually think of Anakin as happy, content. So it does look odd, but that's the way he did look. The neutral face is no slouch either, but then the angry face brings the heat, because that may be, that's how we think of Anakin. Tortured. Heading toward the dark side. Going completely into the dark side. These sold out fairly quick though. I grabbed Anakin on Amazon Japan, where he's now sold out, but the rest are still available if that's one of your options. But if you prefer Ami Ami or HLJ, just keep an eye out. These release in April. Maybe they'll put more up closer to that date. And that's all I have for this week. Well, okay, I know there was more at Wonder Festival, but oh man, there was so much. So much. As more information releases on some of the things I didn't talk about, we'll swing back around. When there's confirmation of scale or price or release or whatever. Because really what it comes down to is I talk about what catches my eye, what ingrains in my brain. I'll probably never swing back around to the football players and stuff, only because I don't know football. I talked about them, I threw it out there, but I'm not really interested myself. That's a personal preference. And I like talking about what I enjoy, so that's where I'm at. I'm trying this new outro so I won't ramble on and on and on and on as much. So it's been scrolling, but special thanks to the Patreon, the no bots. What did I post? Oh, I posted a short that I actually ended up not posting on YouTube. Maybe eventually I'll do it, but I just wanted to get it out there. It was an intro I shot that I didn't use for a review. It's just a silly little thing. But in case this new outro doesn't work when I get to edits, here's the old fade back. The old, have a nice weekend, everybody. Find some toys to distract yourself from the trials and tribulations of daily life, you know. Find a way to enjoy yourself. Be happy. Be content. Bye.